just great job by all of our players, all of our assistant coaches, and the people involved with our program that have helped us establish a great winning tradition at Valparaiso University.
The Crusaders struggled early in this ball game. You did put together a good drive in the middle portion of the first quarter, but defensively gave up some yards on the ground early. In fact, Kentucky Wesleyan gets on the board first on a good drive right downfield on the opening drive. In fact, they convert a fourth down. They move on downfield, and on 3rd and goal from the 4, we're going to see a pass interference call on the near side.
Yeah, of course, we watched this last night in slow-mo, so we have advantage over the referees, but the kid just tripped over his own feet and fell down, and it's a key play right there. It's 3rd and goal at the 5. They have to kick a field goal. Instead, they get a touchdown here.
Yeah, on the very next play from about 2 yards out, Ratcliffe will take it on in. First drive of the ball game, and really an impressive drive for Kentucky Wesleyan. Did have the 4th down conversion in there, and then eventually scored.
A very impressive drive by them. Showed a lot of good patience. The quarterback showed good patience. I think they're getting used to playing now without their quarterback that they had starting for most of the year, and they've established a good offense with this new quarterback.
So 7-0 the score early in this ball game, and as we said, it was an impressive drive by Kentucky Wesleyan, but to the Crusaders' credit, they come right back. 3rd and 5, Doug Holock will go in motion. Nick Browder will roll and find Holock, who makes the fine catch and steps out of bounds, first down.
Doug, I was saying Dan Saturday, it was his first catch of the day, of a few more coming up.
2nd and 10, you ran the draw effectively on Saturday. This is Ozzie breaking off 11 yards and a first down.
Yeah, this is a sprint draw. We'd been having problems sprinting out with Nick because everybody was trying to keep him in the pocket, and so we ran a sprint draw this week to get Ozzie the ball to cut inside those people.
And you see Ozzie break into the open and take it on in, 27 yards for the touchdown. You see some good blocking downfield by your wideouts. Both Doug Holock and Scott Heinrichs had key blocks.
Yeah, again, that's our isolation play. It's a sprint draw to the weak side, and Ozzie cut through there and did a great job reading some of the blocks that people... I mean, that's what Ozzie's been doing so well this year. That's his success, is because he's been able to read blocks and cut off great blocks.
The score tied at 7 after the point after. Good defensive play. Josh Birding, Tom Cunningham on the stop there, stopping Roberts for no gain. Crusaders get the ball back deep in their own territory, and a chance for a big play. Nick goes up top, and the ball just underthrown. Scott Heinrichs did have a step on the defender, but a good intercept by Ryan Smith. That was his 6th interception of the year. Gives the ball back, and now as we move to the second quarter, we see a good play by Jeff Seymour.
Jeff Seymour and the follow-up by Josh Burning. Both linebackers getting to the football there like they should in this gap cancellation defense.
3rd and long, and turnabout's fair play. They want to draw their own, right? And Ratcliffe breaks off for about 15 yards. You see him break a tackle, and that allows him to get the first down.
It's hard to play the draw with only one backer inside, so we're putting some pressure on the outside, and they had a good play call on at that time.
Good defensive play here. In fact, a great defensive play by Shane Snyder.
Outstanding job by Shane there, coming across, knocking the ball down in the end zone.
Next play, Scott Latsky nearly has 6 going the other way. Tom Cunningham with the pressure, and Scott Latsky almost had the pick, and if he had it, he was gone.
He's gone. A good athlete with good speed. There's nobody there on their team that can catch him from that point.
You know, all year long, opposing field goal kickers did a great job against the Crusaders. Here's Roberts, and he was 1 for 4 on the year, and under some tough conditions, knocks home a 40-yard field goal and really made it with plenty to spare.
Yeah, good kick by the young man. Like you said, unfortunately, came against us, which gave them a 10-7 lead. And we're getting an opportunity here to try and get back on the board here with some points.
Very next series, play action. Browder up top, Darrell Jackson's wide open, and Nick puts it on the money.
Yeah, it's just a wheel route. They never cover the tight end all day long on that.
3rd and short, you fake to Trevor Bell, and Nick Browder just follows him up the hole and picks up 5 yards.
Yeah, we want to take a little pressure off of Nick this week, and so we took out the triple option, but we looked like we were running it a lot of the times, and that was one play that got us about 5 yards of carry on Saturday.
Billy Duke looks good. Hit that 30-yarder with plenty to spare, and that ties the game at 10.
Good job by Billy there, getting that ball through the uprights.
Next series, good defensive play at Scott Latsky, who not only stops the sweep, but makes the tackle as well.
I saw some things Saturday in Scott Latsky that I'm going to enjoy watching. I think the next 2 years he's got to play with us. He had a great game Saturday, jumping in the air, quickness and speed and toughness. Scotty's going to be doing a lot of playing for the Crusaders in the future.
Good play by John Harrington. He stopped the draw. That was Sleeton on the next set of downs. We're going to see another nice play by John Harrington. You see, never stops, pursuing from the backside, and eventually makes the stop.
Yeah, he's right there along with Cunningham and Scott Lasky.
Next play, John Paliak makes a big play. He fought through 2 blocks on the play. Makes the tackle in the backfield for a loss of about 3 yards.
Yep, John, our guest on the show today. Haven't had him on yet, and he deserves to be on. He's done a great job for the Crusaders over the last 4 years.
Near intercept, and there's what you're talking about. Scott Lasky's the athletic ability there to get up and knock that pass away.
Now, he was up in the air. Of course, he was a 6'7" high jumper in high school.
Final play we'll show you very late in the first half, and Noel DeBona gets his first career intercept. It's on a 4th down play, and he steps in front of the receiver and makes the intercept, and the Crusaders eventually run it out to end the half at 10. I know you felt going in that you could score more than 10 points in a half, so that was probably a bit of a concern at halftime for you.
Well, the major concern was time of possession. They had about 21 minutes. We only had 9 minutes. We punted twice in the first half, and they were punting in the second half. I don't think the defense quite came to play on Saturday, the first half. They did a great job in the second half, but they were a little flat. They were too high. I mean, there were a lot of different things. We didn't get enough pressure on the quarterback. I know they completed some passes for touchdowns on us, but a lot of times in that situation, it's a lack of pressure on the quarterback, and not so much the coverage that's downfield. And if you give the quarterback time to throw, then they're going to hurt you.
And not only did the defense put more pressure on the quarterback in the second half, but the offense really got it in gear, and the Crusaders racked up about 300 yards in offense in the second half. And we'll show you those second half highlights when we return on Valparaiso University football.
Valparaiso University football is underwritten by the following. First National Bank of Valparaiso, with 13 offices throughout Porter County, working hard to meet the needs of the community. First National Bank of Valparaiso offers simple fixed-rate car loans with fast, personal, pre-approved service. First National Bank of Valparaiso, strengthening their commitment to Porter County. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender. Finley Construction, serving the building needs of commercial and residential properties throughout Northwest Indiana. Finley specializes in designing and building your new construction, remodeling, addition, and restoration projects. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Finley Construction, 462-2726.
Mike's Sporting Goods, your team sports professional. Mike's has NFL and college team crews and jackets from Starter, Russell, and others. A great selection and Mike's great value. For your team sport needs, Mike's has it. Shoes from Nike, Reebok, Converse, plus uniforms, trophies, custom screen printing, school jackets, equipment, and more. Mike's Sporting Goods, Maryville, Crown Point, Hobart, and Michigan City.
And by the financial support of viewers like you.
Tommy really established the fullback in the second half. Was that by design in the locker room? Did you talk about getting Trevor the ball a little more?
We didn't talk a whole lot about offense or defense in the locker room. We talked to the players about getting a little more fired up and playing with a little more heart and desire and spirit on the football field, a little more emotion. That was the main thing. Trevor was a question mark coming into the game because of his knee. He got a decent test in the first half, and he came out of it good, and he got the ball a lot more in the second half.
And by design, as we go to the highlights, we'll see plenty of Trevor Bell, including the very first play we'll show you. 1st and 10, in fact, first play of the second half, Coach. And this was a sign of things to come. Trevor running real hard. You see the hit at the initial point of the play, line of scrimmage, and he broke away for 12 yards.
Boy, it sure was great to have old T-Bell back in the offense. You can see how much he means to our offense after he missed 2 weeks and comes back for a great game on Saturday.
Doug Holock had a huge second half. Here's a sliding catch on 3rd down, and as usual, Doug Holock finds the stick and picks up the first down.
Doug's a very smart receiver, knows what's happening, and does a great job every snap.
3rd and short, and Trevor Bell nearly goes the distance, breaks it for 27 yards down inside the 5.
Yep, great blocking as well by the offensive line there. They blocked this play well all day.
4th and goal, though, Coach, and the problems inside the 5 continue. Unfortunately, a missed snap, and Kentucky Wesleyan takes over, and then they break a big one. It's Roberts on the cutback who picks up 33 yards before Shane Snyder tracks him down.
Yeah, we've got to maintain our gap cancellation policy on the defensive front and stay with that. And if they stay in their lanes, that won't happen.
Excellent play by Tom Cunningham as he stops Ratcliffe for a loss of 3, and that sets up a 4th down. And on the 4th down, great pressure applied by John Palyak to force the incomplete pass. See John fight off the block, never quits. Warren going to the ground, his pass behind the receiver, and Crusaders take over in great field position.
And John was tugging at his leg, which probably forced an errant throw.
Out of a shotgun set, across the middle to Michael Tolbert, who caught 3 passes on Saturday. That one came on a 3rd and 8 to pick up the 1st down, and on the next play we're going to see a good block by Darrell Jackson, top of the screen, and Trevor Bell with some hard running for 23 yards.
A good job by Darrell maintaining his block. All we have to do is, in our offense, maintain blocks, let the backs read it. The defense, whichever way they go, they should be wrong.
So the pickup of 23 will set up this play.
How about this protection here, Todd?
All day. It's actually 1st and 20 after a holding penalty, and eventually Doug Holock breaks free and into the end zone for the touchdown. But obviously the pass protection was the key there.
Outstanding pass protection. He missed that 7 or 8 seconds to throw the football there. And like we talked about with Kentucky Wesleyan's offense, you give a quarterback that much time to throw, they're going to find somebody open.
But unfortunately, the extra point problems continue. They've been a bugaboo all season. Now you've got all summer to work it out, I guess. The winter and then the summer to work out the extra point problems. That one hit the upright, and the score remained 16-10.
Yeah, I don't know why extra points has become such an adventure for us this year.
John Harrington fights through 2 blocks and gets the sack. He had a fine ball game on Saturday. Sacks Warren for a loss of about 8 yards in the momentum. All Valparaiso right now.
Well, the players walked on the field and started playing with some emotion, some spirit, and getting after people, and that's our style of play. As you can see here with a 14-yard gain by Maurice Watkins.
Fresh legs there in the 4th quarter.
Absolutely.
His first carry of the day picks up 14 yards. Good block by Evan Fitzgerald, and the Crusaders come out on the next play. A little out and up, and Doug Holock with another nice catch and the touchdown.
Yeah, arms outstretched, diving for the football. Big catch for Doug there. We go for 2 right here.
Looks like the right play's called. Nick maybe could have put a little more zip on it, and Darrell Jackson had his hands on it but couldn't pull it in.
Yeah, should have brought it down, I think. And Darrell came out and says, I should have had it. He knows it. But we didn't get her, so we got to play defense now.
And credit to Kentucky Wesleyan. They come right back and get back in the game. Warren it to Bennett. That covered 16 on a 2nd down. Here's a 3rd down conversion. Over the middle, Warren hits Yates for 20 yards.
Yeah, we're just not putting enough pressure on the quarterback right now, as you can see.
And on 2nd and 10, Warren will roll and really throws it up for grabs, but their bigger receiver, Bennett, is able to outleap Rodney's zone for the football.
Yeah, our coverage is right there. We just don't make the play. Their guy made the play, and we didn't.
And the extra point, suddenly it's 22-17. It was 22-10, Coach, and you look like maybe you had them put away. But again, a good passing team, and they showed it.
Yeah, they've had a couple 400-yard passing days this year, so they're by no means slouches in regards to throwing the football.
And we've seen this so many times over the past few years. Ozzie Young gives you great field position. This kick's going to bounce. Ozzie fields it about the 21 and nearly goes the distance. Brings the ball into Kentucky Wesleyan territory at the 43-yard line.
It's exciting to see him get his hands on the ball because you know and the fans know and our players know that every time he touches that ball, he could go the distance, and he gave us great field position there when we needed it.
3 straight 3rd down conversions. Here's a 3rd and 3, and Trevor Bell breaks one for 20 yards.
Again, outstanding job by the offensive line blocking. Normally we like to trap, but we put in a new play where instead of trapping down linemen, we're trapping the linebackers, and it really worked well for us this week with Trevor Bell, as you can see, at 152 yards rushing.
3rd and 3, and Nick shows his great athletic ability, gets right down to the 1-yard line.
Yeah, very good job there, pulling that ball out and getting around the outside and getting us down there in scoring position.
Penalty, they'll move the Crusaders back, and on 3rd and goal from the 8, 3rd touchdown catch of the 2nd half for Doug Holock.
Outstanding catch by Doug, and on the wide angle view, which our fans can't see because we have a different camera here, he gets both feet in and slides right down there and does a great job of getting a touchdown for us.
Now makes another great catch here on the 2-point conversion.
Absolutely. I saw Doug's eyes when he was trying to catch that ball, and they were as big as silver dollars. I mean, he was focused. He was going to catch that ball.
So we're down into the latter portion of the ball game. Crusaders leading 30-17, and Josh Burning has the intercept, which looked like it sealed the game.
Yeah, this is a situation here where we need to put somebody away, and we didn't do that.
Crusaders gave the ball back on a punt, and quickly Kentucky Wesleyan, with about 3 minutes to go, goes up top. Warren to Yates, and 34 yards on that play down to the VU 3-yard line. And then on the next play, a big wideout Churchwell, who had a big game, comes up with the catch. The extra point is blocked. They nearly got 2 points out of it. But that extra point kept the block, kept it at 30-23. They try the onside kick with 2 minutes to go, and Darren Rodriguez fields it, and that seals the game.
Yeah, that's the play of the game right there. In my opinion, we're up by 7. They get the ball back right there. The way they've been throwing the ball, you're looking at maybe a tie ball game, or if they go for 2, possibly a win. So, I mean, that's a big, big play by Darren Rodriguez right there.
Crusaders had just about 120 yards offense in the first half, but look at the numbers they put up in the second half, Coach. You end up with more than 400 yards, so had nearly 300 in the second half.
If you look at time of possession, it was 21-9 at halftime. Them versus us, and we ended up having more minutes with the ball than they did. So we really took over in the second half.
And, again, you had a couple interceptions. That was key. You know, you look at maybe the one stat which sticks out is the fact that you did rush for 252 yards, and I think you only had about 80 at halftime, so that was a big difference.
And going into the game, I told our offensive line that we can rush for 300 yards Saturday. And, of course, we had 180 yards rushing the second half, so it was definitely, if we would have had the ball more in the first half, we would have had that 300-yard rushing day.
One thing which I know you want to correct for next season, penalties. Too many this year.
Absolutely. Had some shaky ones called Saturday, as you know, but that's part of the whole mix. And you got whatever happens, you got to deal with it. We told our players going down there, get south that Mason-Dixon line. You know, you got to. you're down 7-0 before the game even starts. You know, so.
Not quite sure who the officials are. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Where they came from.
Right.
Okay. Scores from around the conference. Let's check those. And you see the big one took place out west. San Diego unable to get the job done at home, and thus Dayton and Butler share the conference title.
Yeah, Dayton tied Butler for the conference title. Butler beat Dayton head-to-head. I would think that Butler would be the conference champs then.
Evansville over Aurora. The Aces did well outside of conference, but did not do well in conference, and Drake had another solid year.
They beat St. Ambrose 19-0. Drake had a very good year again. They were preseason conference picks to win the conference, but they finished third.
Here are those standings for you. Dayton and Butler both finish at 4-1. Butler did beat Dayton. Of course, the team that beat Butler was Valparaiso. Drake finishes up 3-2. The Crusaders, with the fine overall mark, 7-3. I know you'd like to improve, though, on the conference mark next season.
Oh, I think so. That's we did a pretty good job non-conference. In conference was where our 3 losses were. Had a game where we know we blew it against San Diego, and should have got that game, but that's water under the bridge and over the dam, right?
Well, one guy who was always there in his career making big, big plays on the defensive front is John Palyak, and great to have him in the studio, who concludes an outstanding career. And John, congratulations on an outstanding career, and concluded with a fine senior season.
Yes, big change for my freshman year. You know, I came into Crusader camp. You know, they asked me to bench a certain weight or do a vertical jump or broad jump. They gave me a helmet. They said you're going to play defensive line, and I started to play. And to leave on a positive note, 7-3 is just great. Is just great, and hopefully it leaves a lasting impression and a good stepping stone to build from.
And Coach, you talk about the turnaround of this program. You know, successive 0-win seasons and successive 1-win seasons. John Palyak was there at the beginning, and now he leaves, and you talk about we're going to look back at the turnaround of the program, and you're going to look at people like John Palyak for being a big part of the turnaround.
Absolutely. You know, John's our second recruiting class, and he's been through the tough times. Doug Holock Trevor Bell, Jeff Seymour were in our first recruiting class, and they were redshirted, and they were here this year yet. So they've really been through it. So really hats off to John and all those guys for the kind of example they've set, the work ethic that they established, and the tradition they've established.
Okay, we're going to take a look at a play from Saturday, John, and let you comment on it. A situation where they're trying to run wide, and they did have some success running the football, especially in the first half, but Crusaders shut them down in the second half. And John, a situation where I know as a defensive end, you don't like to let anybody get outside you, and we're going to see a situation here. You can talk about the player there on the right side of the screen.
Okay, yeah, they're on the right side of the screen here.
They're going to come, I believe, what looks like a sweep.
What kind of a defensive call was on there, John? Do you remember?
I believe it might have been just regular tight.
Fought through the block.
Tight call, which is every individual has their own responsibility, their own job to do. And I was in control of the C gap there, and anything that comes through the C gap, I just destroy. So
threw the blocker out of the way in a hurry.
Yeah, I did. And I remember that play because it was like slow motion, because I looked in his eyes and he looked in my eyes, and he didn't know where to go, and he didn't know what to do. And so, as you see, it was tackled for a loss.
All right, John, here we go. We've got to ask you about the clinching play against Evansville, the fumble. A play where it actually turned out to be a key play, not only because you scored the touchdown, because it sealed the win. It was 27-21 at the time, and Tom Cunningham made the hit, and you saw the football there, and obviously your eyes lit up at that time, right?
Yeah, another slow motion play where it just seemed like everything was slow motion, and a defensive lineman's dream. A defensive lineman's dream.
Had you scored a touchdown in high school?
No, I haven't. That was the first time I ever got to touch the ball. And I was running out of speed there. I thought someone was going to tackle me before I hit that goal line. But thanks to Tom Cunningham and the rest of the defense, they made that happen.
You know, some defensive linemen have said, hey, I don't want to score a touchdown. I don't need to get the ball in my hands. The thing that gives me the most pleasure is sacks. John, you finished second in the conference this year in sacks. Was that the most exciting thing that's ever happened to you, the fumble recovery, or is that is a sack just as exciting for you?
Well, I believe like the glory, the actual moment, is really beating that man in front of you, is beating that offensive lineman, and then getting that quarterback. I think the real glory is beating that man or that double team or that first man and then the second man in the backfield and getting to that quarterback. And just to say that, hey, I just beat you off the ball, and your quarterback's on his back right now.
John, the best celebration, though, was after the touchdown. That was better than any celebration after a sack, though.
Yeah, yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Coach, we're in a situation now, you lose a John Paliak. You actually lose 7 other very key football players for you. But I know you have to feel like the program is still rising, right? Let's look ahead now to 95.
Well, there's a lot of good young players, and John and I talked about it on the way over here. He sees only positive things and better things down the horizon as well. A lot of good young players. We talked about some of those guys. Last year we lost a great player in Scott Petcue. And, John Paliak's out of the same mold as Scott Petcue. And, each year you're going to lose some seniors, and you've got to have a good recruiting base and good young players established so they can keep working their way up in the system and become the new John Paliaks and the new Scott Petcues and the new Jeff Seymours and those kind of people down the road.
Okay, let's talk about guys who are going to have to make big step-ups for you next year. Who are the guys who are going to really have to step up their game and make big contributions for you next year?
Well, I think we need to establish a new fullback at that position. Trevor Bell gave us some great years here. I think some of the established players we have, Nick Browder and Ozzie Young, are a year wiser and a year older, and they've got to step it up a little bit. We've got some good young offensive linemen on the team that have got to step it up in the off-season and get stronger and get prepared to play for us. Offensive line at times was a problem for us this year, and we need to do better next year at that segment in order to be totally successful offensively.
And obviously a big loss at free safety, right?
Yeah, Shane's going to be missed. A lot of instincts there that nobody teaches him, that he just brings to the game with him, and we'll definitely miss Shane. He's got a good shot at some postseason honors this year, I'm sure. And too bad he didn't get a pick this weekend. We'd like to see him get 1 or 2 more picks.
Back-to-back 8 interception seasons. That's a pretty phenomenal number.
That's really great. And I know the all-time record, I think, is 23 interceptions. here, and if he'd have been here for the full 4 years, I'm sure he would have probably got that. So he's that type of a player.
Okay, it's been a fun season, Coach, and congratulations, 7-3, the best mark since '71. We thank the big brickie, John Palyak, for stopping in. As always, we thank the coach. We thank you for tuning in. Hey, we'll see you next year on Valparaiso University football.
Join Marty Stauffer on his quest to give an expert view of nature and its wonders. Don't miss Wild America tonight at 10 on Channel 56.
Valparaiso.